And how do you process that kind of a game from Jameis, where it's the best of the best and then some of the worst?
Yeah, I mean, that's just something we just got to keep focusing on, keep correcting, keep working at, and making sure that we keep our attention to detail where it needs to be in terms of the number one thing, protecting the football. And I think, Jameis is the first one to admit that, and part of that is, technique stuff. Part of that is, everybody doing their job stuff, and part of that's decision making. So there's different things that go into those things, but at the end of the day, the quarterback has the ultimate responsibility for it, and we'll keep making sure to work to improve that.
And Jameis is always throwing interceptions. That's just been part of his game, for better or worse. I guess as a coordinator and a coach, how do you maybe try and limit that?
Well, you don't stop coaching it, number one. I don't think you just sit there and say, okay, it's okay, it's just the way it is. I think we keep coaching it, we keep hitting on it, why these things are happening and how can we correct them, and to make sure it doesn't happen again next time. So I think there's that aspect of it. Obviously there with, the amount of third downs and 2-minute drives and things like that, we got into a lot more throwing the ball than typical. So striking that balance to make sure we have that balance, and we're still running the ball and making sure we're in advantageous positions for the run game and for Jameis to utilize the play action stuff as well. So I do think there's that balance we got to make sure we're handling and we're doing good, and we're not getting lopsided. And obviously with the multiple 2-minute drives and third downs and things like that, that added to that. But we want to make sure we're doing, helping him out there as well.
The number of difficult throws that he tries to make adds up to that. It feels like there's a lot of out routes and silent routes or from one hash to the sideline that might make it more susceptible to interception.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think, there's a lot of difficult throws, in this league, and I think the advantage that Jameis gives you is it does force a defense to have to cover the whole field. They can't play between the hashes. They can't, play into the boundary. We want to be able to attack the whole field, but do it in a smart way, in a judicious way. And at the end of the day, knowing where our misses are. If we're throwing an out cut to the field from the far hash, all right, if we're going to miss, we're missing that thing outside, and hey, we're throwing an in cut, we're going to miss that thing low and not high, so it's just those little detail things from the quarterback position of, all right, where's my miss going to be? If it's dicey at all right, I'm going to miss this thing outside and make sure worst case scenario is second down or third down, or we're ending the series with a kick.
Any advantages for you guys from just a game planning standpoint from seeing this team so soon after you just played them? Are there any on the flip side of that, maybe disadvantages? We talk about teams getting better or changing as the season goes on, so maybe they're relatively still the same from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of things fresh, in your mind from the first game for us and for them. I think there is that. Obviously, there's the health factor of, we've got some different guys in, and they've got some different guys in, and we've got different guys out. They got different guys out. So that always changes things as well, right there. But game planning wise and things like that, you look and you're trying to make sure that you're doing things that are different or not, things that they can just lock in and key in on because, hey, we did this before and, just 2 weeks ago on them. So in that regard, things are a little bit more fresh in everybody's mind in terms of, hey, here's the stuff we were running, here's the stuff they were running. I'm sure they're going to have some different looks for us as well.
Along those lines with personnel maybe being slightly different, it looks like they're going to have Alex Highsmith. So how does he kind of change the pass rush looks you guys might get, and even going against Herbig, though, how difficult can he be as well in there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's one of the top rushers in this league. He generates pressure. He's a high effort guy. He can win with speed, win with power, and with the depth they have at the position, and then obviously, Watt on the other side, it's a challenging combo, and obviously there's things you want to do to help your guys out in that regard, whether it's within pass protection, whether it's running the football, whether it's ball out, whether it's taking shots downfield, just trying to mix things up to make sure that they can't get a beat as much in what you're doing. So we just got to keep giving them different looks, keep understanding what we have in terms of the pass rush, because you got those guys, and then the interior guys aren't bad players either. Hayward's playing at an extremely high level. They've got other guys in there that can as well. So it's a great challenge for us, and we got to do a great job, obviously, not only as players but as coaches schematically in what we're asking our guys to do.
Jameis was so emotional after that game, saying he wants to be delivered from pick six. The next day when you saw him, was he still emotional, or was it on to the next game?
I mean, I think obviously it's still, it's still in your head a little bit. It's still kind of something you're feeling, or still something not in your head, but you're feeling, obviously, still that short, time away from the game or whatever. But in this league, you got to be able to turn the page quickly. And I think that's the great thing about Jameis is he's a veteran guy. He's been through a lot in his career, good, bad, and I think he's got a good understanding that, hey, obviously there's some things that went well and there's some things we've got to correct from the last game. He's gonna work to make those corrections, but we got to turn the page and focus on a opponent this week who is, a really good team, a really good defense, and we got to be able to turn the page quick here, especially on a short week.
When you have a number one receiver like Jerry who can kind of thrive from anywhere you line him up, how does that help you as a play caller? What sort of things, what does that open up for you?
Yeah, I think his mind for the game and his intelligence, his ability to move into different spots, whether it's inside, outside, X, Z, whatever it is definitely beneficial. You want to be able to move guys around so a defense can't get a beat on them and know exactly where they're lining up every time, I feel like. So his mental ability to handle that, and then the physical ability to run the routes and still be able to win is a huge advantage, I think, for us. And the flexibility that we look for in offense is to be able to for guys to do different things and have different roles, so that one guy's not always doing the exact same thing.
Worrying about interceptions with the Steelers, they're right at the top of the list in terms of forced fumbles. So how do you approach that this week, just in terms of ball security and drills and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the case every year with them. They do a great job coaching it, attacking the football, and so that's got to be an emphasis for us. We've got to do a great job with that. Obviously, from a quarterback's perspective, decision making, throwing the ball, but also in the pocket, and then all of our ball carriers as well. We got to do a great job covering the ball up, and then we got to do a great job covering to the ball with guys who don't have it, so we get population around the football. So I think those things, we really got to stress, and we really got to make sure that we're putting ourselves in the best position possible to make sure that we're really good with our ball security.
Going back to the question about Jerry's versatility, are you seeing more flexibility in receivers as they're coming into the league as, 7-on-7s than maybe 10, 15 years ago, where this guy's an X, this guy's a Y?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's the receivers themselves or just the way the game's going, and with the pass game and with how talented these guys are and the plays they're able to make, defenses are so good, to kind of key and take them away, that you've got to do different things with them. So it might be a product of what they're doing kind of growing up now with all the 7-on-7. It might be a product of just the evolution of the game as well. But I do think, a lot of it depends on the guy too. Some guys, have the ability to do what Jerry does. Some guys don't, and you just got to be able to figure that out as well. If you got a guy who's more of a one position guy, so everybody's different. Some guys can do those different type of things and fit in different roles in different spots. Some guys are more one positional though.
You mentioned the run game could put you in more favorable spots. Why do you think it wasn't as successful as you wanted against Denver, and then what kind of challenges Pittsburgh's run defense?
Yeah, I think Denver's a great, they're a great defense. I think, they're that popped right there, and there were some things that were some hard yards too that we needed. The physicality of coming off the ball and getting some hard yards. So I think it's a product of playing a really good run defense that was around the line of scrimmage a lot and doing that type of stuff, and that opened up some other things. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're continually focusing on, hey, letting our guys come off the ball and do those things and be physical, which they've done well here, this year and over the years. We just got to continue to grow, because as you keep hitting those body blows, those things start popping for bigger gains. So I think that's the thing, the mentality that we want to have. We just got to keep grinding on it, and keep doing that to put ourselves in position. So hey, those things, because we got good backs, we got a good line, they can do these things. Tight ends, receivers that are willing to get dirty. So we got to keep letting them be in position to come off the ball.
Corner like Porter, they got a bunch of those flags against Cincinnati the other day, and he's obviously a physical guy. What are some of the coaching points to your receivers when you go up against a guy like that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're going to be physical. I think that's just something they've done over the years as well, and they love to get hands on you, and obviously he does a great job at that, and he's a longer, more physical player. So that's the nature of one week to the next. Last week he had the flags. We'll see what happens this week, but I think you just go into it saying, okay, we got to play fast, we got to understand what we're getting, and do a great job in route, on releases, and all those different things to make sure that we're able to kind of attack that and try to create some separation against a really good corner that does a good job playing physical.
Chubb has hit a wall.
No, I think Nick's a pro. He's a guy who's in here working every day. When you watch him at practice, when you look at his regimen to make sure he's ready for every game, he's a grinder, and he's gonna get himself ready each and every week. And he's played in this league for a long time, and I think that he's the type of guy that he's ready to roll every week. Thank you, guys.